Hello and welcome. I am Stacey Thomas, author, ALS advocate, film producer, and talk show host. I'm here to motivate, educate, and entertain. Join me on YouTube every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Stacey Thomas Talk Show, where we have powerful discussions centered around health, relationship, careers, and everyday conversation. Follow me on Facebook, I am Stacey Thomas, on Instagram, Stacey Thomas Talk Show. And don't forget, I can promote you too. Email me at iamstaceythomas@gmail.com. Now, it's time for the show. Hello. Welcome to the Stacey Thomas Show. And this segment here, we are featuring the business blocks, where entrepreneurs, historians, business owners, nonprofits, people who are in entertainment are welcome on this platform to discuss what they're doing to change lives in the local area and surrounding counties. I am your host, Stacey Thomas, and tonight I am bringing another beautiful person on my platform. Let's welcome Chantel Williams. Hey.
Hello, Stacey. Hello, everyone.
That big smile. Thank you for coming on, Chantel.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
You're doing
Can't
well.
complain.
Very good.
Yes.
Chantel, I have to shout this out because I asked you about it before the show started. I was wondering, and you verified it. So you're based in Hopewell, Virginia?
Yes, I am in Hopewell, Virginia. Yes.
My hometown, sweetheart. My hometown. I don't have I know there's things happening in Hopewell. I need to ask questions, see what's going on, because I love it when, there's somebody that's around familiar grounds that you're used to. And Hopewell was definitely a place that it's changed a lot, but I have a lot of good memories as a young woman there, a kid and a young woman. So it's nice to have a Hopewellian in the building. You and
Awesome.
but you're sitting in you're in Hopewell, but you're offering services online, across state line, across the
Yes.
country, correct?
Yes. And because of that, it doesn't keep me boxed in. So I'm originally from the Eastern Shore of Virginia.
Okay.
However, as you mentioned, I am based here in Hopewell, but offer services and opportunities globally. So all over.
Okay, I like that. Someone told me not too long ago. I said, "Well, I've been online for a few years now." I said, "And now I want to do things live." And I said, "I'm not sure how I'm going to mix it up." And they said, "You know what, Stacey? You're a digital billboard." I said, because most of my guests have been across state line, and just here lately, I'm starting to get people close to home. So I said, "Okay, I'll take that digital billboard. You're a digital entrepreneur, the queen of branding."
Absolutely.
Is that what you call yourself, the queen of branding?
Yeah, it's the graphics queen. Yes.
Graphics queen. Okay. I said the queen
Yes.
of. Okay. You're from the Eastern Shore, and I read in your bio that you majored in computer information systems.
Yes, I did.
Oh,
Yes, so I majored in computer information systems at Virginia State, and went on to pursue my graduate still within the digital technology realm, as well as obtained an MBA to tap into the business side of things.
to tap into the business side of things. Chantel, I
Yes.
also read in your bio that you merged what you learned with being creative as far as the branding thing, right? But for someone like
Yes.
me, I'm in the computer science department, and
Mhm.
all the students think about is computer science. How did
Mhm.
you come up with merging the two? Was it because something wasn't working out? Was it during the COVID time when we all discovered ourselves? How did you come about that?
So, as I mentioned, as an undergrad majoring in computer information systems, I was blessed to land an internship after graduation in that field, in that area. Shout out to Hale State, Virginia State is where I got my undergrad. So, working with a company after landing a job opportunity after college really allowed me to take the information that I learned from the books and really see how it was to be applied hands-on on site. And I found out kind of quick that it is a lot different when you're in the space performing the technical troubleshooting, wiring, networking, etc. And I just felt that after a while, I kind of got tired of rolling around on the ground, on the floor, wiring and connecting and server generation of different systems. But I also was in the space with that company of being their webmaster and doing newsletters and doing some graphics. So I was able to tap into that, and I was like, "Oh, I like this. I like this creative side,"
Okay.
which allowed me to be able to pursue graphics and design a little more, but still utilizing that computer information systems and technology information that I obtain all along the way. It still plays a role as I automate things and help me streamline processes. But it kind of was like the bridge of allowing me to be able to expand in that area.
Wow. I love how you told us how you got to this point, because a lot of times people look at when we go to school for one thing, or when we start doing something and we change over to another career, we have to start everything over again. But then we realize where it was that God had us played a part in where
Yes,
we are today. Wow.
absolutely.
And look at you smiling. So you're loving your profession, huh?
I love it. It's my passion. And, just being able to share and give and keep learning because technology is changing by the second. I used to say by the day. So being in tune with it and embracing it is great.
How do you do that? Are you like a real estate agent or a mortgage person? Like you're constantly taking tests yearly, or how do you keep abreast up on things?
Ensuring that I follow a lot of gurus who are within that area, within that realm, attending different sessions, webinar, workshops, just continuing to stay in tune with the trends and what's happening, and then looking at those who I consider, mentors within that realm or within that area, and just ensuring that I stay abreast of everything.
Well, you're not only following gurus now. I've seen on Facebook
Hmm.
you actually have people following you. You've been doing speaking engagements.
Yes, I have. Yes.
So
Yes.
tell us, when you're coming out and you're doing speaking engagements, what are people booking you for? Because I know you have your business with the branding and the websites,
Hmm.
but what are you
Hmm.
speaking about when you go out and talk to, I'm assuming, entrepreneurs?
Right. So a lot of the engagements are centered around the overall power of branding and understanding the story behind it, as well as understanding how important it is to build your business and your brand by telling a story. And then other speaking engagements are centered around me being a published author, sharing my story in specific areas, specific topics, and specific subject matters. And then just overall workshops are based around from entrepreneurship, from startup operations with the collaborative effort I have. Shout out to Shalonda and Latrice, we are tapping into helping those clients not just get into the business startup phase, but understand what it takes to go through the entire process and be able to maintain that business and scale in it.
Wow. So when people create businesses and they think about, someone says, well, what's your brand? What's your logo?
Mhm.
What do you tell them? How
I,
important is it to have a
oh,
brand? Look, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I tell them that it goes beyond just a logo. Yes, the logo is what I like to consider being the foundation or the starting point, because once you have that logo, then if someone, for instance, doesn't remember your name, that they know when they see that symbol or they see that color or scheme, they know who you are. So taking it back a little further, a lot of times people say, "Oh, I'm ready to start a business. My favorite colors are XYZ." Well, I dive a little deeper because I like to play off of colors and numbers. They have meanings. So you want to make sure that when you're picking those colors, that it's not just a family favorite or this is my favorite color. That may play a role, but you want to make sure the meaning of those colors and the meaning of that content is going to go back to what your mission, your vision, and your overall goals are to obtain in your business. And then you want to tap into more of the aesthetics and the visualization so that when people recognize it or see those items that you put together, they know that it is you without you even saying much.
Wow. So when you're talking to people and they're trying to create a brand for their business, do you think their personal brand is just as important as their professional brand?
Yes, because you're still being represented as that entity, as that person. So you want to make sure whether you on honing more into the personal or honing more into the business side, you want to make sure that they both connect, overall have consistency. The overall behind actually building the brand is you want to make sure that your how your brand matters by you building that loyalty and building that trust. First of all, you got to build that trust in those clients based off of the services that you're going to offer to them that may help their pain points. So you want to build some items behind the scenes, like I said, before you really dive into the aesthetics, building that loyalty, building that trust, building those values and things like that, getting them to be able to feel comfortable with you as their as your business.
Chantel, when people come to you, are you patient when they don't know their color? They don't know what it is that would make them pop. Are you comfortable are you comfortable working with them, or do you want people to come to you that already has everything on paper and they're just like, can you work from this?
Right. So, of course, I don't expect everyone to have everything together, but my ultimate goal is to hopefully have you come to me and have a starting point. Because
Okay.
if you don't know your business vision, goals, what it is you're trying to obtain, trying to accomplish, then a lot of times people look at us as graphic designers and say, "Work your magic," and we're like, "No, we can't. We can make things happen, but you have to give us something." And a lot of that will go back to creating that business plan, creating those visions, creating that brand identity, and then we can pursue and see how everything kind of like mirrors and matches up.
Okay. So you're doing branding, you're building websites,
Yes,
you're building
yes,
websites.
yes. So yeah, the website is another tool. Again, when I speak of the consistency, I make sure that from the logo all the way up to that online and offline marketing, we want to make sure it's consistent. For instance, websites. When investors are reaching out to you or seeking your services, that may be the first thing they go to. They may bypass social media or they may vice versa. So you want to make sure it's consistent across all platforms, across all areas that your business touch or that you may have relation with. So yes, websites is a tool that service that I offer, and it's not just as with all services. It's not just designing and doing the work. I'm going to make sure you're comfortable and understand, the reason behind and the training piece of what is being done.
Okay. Have you ever had someone, Chantel, that already thought they had their brand and then they realized, hey, this isn't working for me. I need a new brand. Have you ever had anyone like that? And is that a hard problem to rebrand?
So absolutely, I've had clients that in different areas. Rebranding can come from multiple things. It could come from someone who may feel that they had their current brand or current design and are scaling in their business. Therefore, they need to change some things up because their business is growing. And then I've had some that kind of start out one way, but um, look at other things or maybe other competitors or other areas that they kind of have an interest in and want to shift that way too. So I've had both, and I understand both aspects of them. But the ultimate thing is to just hone in on what it is that you are set to do, so that when you're building that brand, you won't have to. The adjustments and changing should be just you adding on services, maybe shifting and expanding some services, but to just keep changing things up a lot of times you're going to confuse your audience, you could confuse your clients, but I do encourage to introduce changes to them, make them aware, hey, this is coming. That's a part of marketing, keep them engaged.
Wow. And Chantel, I've seen your beautiful family because you post pictures, right? And
Yes.
everyone looks happy. Chantel,
Yes.
how do you, as a female entrepreneur, wife, and mother, do what you
Mm-hmm.
do for the women that are watching that want to do
Yes.
things? They say, "But I got the kids, I got a husband, and everybody requires attention." Chantel,
Yes.
what can you
Yes.
tell me?
I'm laughing because I love this question. So I'm laughing because a while back, I would say a few years ago, I was that person that felt that I had to hone in on this work-life balance. I got to balance this. I got to do this. I got to do that all at the same time, all trying to give everyone the bits and pieces. And I had to change that mindset. So one way that I do it is instead of trying to balance every single thing, I reevaluate, and instead I build the life that I want centered around different things so that I don't have to feel like I'm just sacrificing or comprising everything. So
Right.
one way is to ensure that we have schedules in place. Ensure that I still balance things, but just making sure the time is split in different areas. Business wise, making sure I have automated tools in place that are going to maybe respond to an email that come through, or my information is consistent all across the board so everyone knows how to connect and reach whatever it is that they may be want to tap into. So again, just being able to have that structure and discipline. It comes with discipline. It comes with setting boundaries, and it comes with knowing that not everyone is your ideal client, and not everyone deserves that energy and your peace, because that could be draining too. So I feel that over the years, I have been faced with different instances that have caused me to be able to, I had no other choice but to figure out how to make it all work. And now being full fledged in my business from when I was laid off from my 9 to 5, I don't feel as much of that burnout that I had and wasn't putting into my business. Instead, I have the flexibility and being able to set events for the family that we have going on through the week or through the month, but centering things around those items.
Wow. I loved how you told us about that. And isn't it something you said laid off? Some people think
Mm-hmm.
being laid off is the worst thing in the world, but it sounds like it was the thing maybe
Yes.
that God let happen to make Chantel get out there and do what it is that she's doing in 2025
You
for
know,
people.
yes, that is so true. When I was laid off during the pandemic, it really pushed me into doing what it was that I know I needed to be doing in my business, and being able to really pour into others and tap into my passion more. So I, brought back my time, I brought back my peace, and I brought back, just being able to do what I know that it was that God had me to get set up a few years leading to that. It was like, okay, now is the time to do it. If not, I would have continued to be comfortable. I would have continued to neglect my business because I was burned out. I didn't have time after coming home and trying to do extracurricular activities, get settled, etc. So it had to happen.
So, because God made you make a move, I have to ask you
Yes.
this. I have to ask you this. What is it that kept you from making the move when God first put in you, showing you what you could do? Why did it take a layoff?
Okay, running from it and wanting what I thought was that job security. Working a 9 to 5, you got a paycheck every 2 weeks, every week, whatever. In business, it's risky. It's give and take. Some
Wow.
days may be amazing, some weeks may be amazing, and then sometimes there are unpaid invoices. There are still services, subscriptions, and operational costs that are still needed. So that's thinking of that, having that security, and just having to really change the mindset. And when it happened, it was like God was like, okay, I got you. Regardless, I got you.
Okay. I love it. I love it. We're gonna talk about all the services in case someone's missed out on something after this quick break,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
Want to be heard? Get featured on The Stacey Thomas Show. Join Stacey for conversations on entertainment, books, and entrepreneurship. Don't miss out. Elevate your brand today. Book your interview now. Email staceythomas@gmail.com.
Okay, we're back, Chantel. And
Yes.
I will say this again. Thank you for all who are watching. You're watching a segment called The Business Block, centered in Petersburg to support the city of Petersburg and surrounding counties and cities. It is a segment off of the Stacey Thomas Show. And tonight we are talking to Chantel Williams. And, you know, she's blessing us with the services that she's telling us about. So, Chantel, thank you again for being on the show.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you for having us and opening up your space for us. It's an honor.
Sweetheart. My sister, well, let me say this, because see, I got a way of talking too much sometimes, but my sister, I noticed when I said something about the people I met over at Shalanda's networking event, right? That's Shalanda
Yes.
Royster, Collegiate Connections. You guys have seen her on my show. And
Yes.
I mentioned it to my sister, and I said, friend, I said, you know, Chantel Williams, she's nice, Stacey. Almost like I was going to say something bad, Chantel. The first thing, get out of her. She's real nice.
Yes. I did not know you were related to recently. I didn't know that was your sister. Now I was putting it together. I was like, oh, okay. But I did not know. So it's definitely a small world.
I am the nicer sister. And when she
Okay.
the first thing she's probably going to tell you when she realizes we know each other is to let you know I am the oldest. She's famous for that.
Right.
Let's see. Your business services offered: business strategy consulting, marketing brand strategy consulting, course cohorts with accredited certifications, custom branding packages, graphic design and print services, group training, workshops, website development, and much more. You are that stop that people need to make to assist with branding, huh?
Yes. I like to call myself the one-stop graphic design shop.
Oh, I love it. John Freeman patron, blessings. Well, thank you.
Yes.
I don't know if the blessings are for me or Chantel, but I'll take it too.
Yes.
So, Chantel, how is it that how do you think people, at what point do you think people need to call you? Do people call you after they've written their book, after they've created their business, or are you one of the first people they need to call?
Definitely the middle person. Because like as I mentioned with the group that we have, we call it the trifecta, Shalonda, myself, and Latrice. I would say this, I'm the second person because I do not want clients to come and risk maybe ready to start. For instance, I just to be transparent, I had a client to come and says, I'm ready for my logo. This is what this is the name. No, I'm ready for my business. This is my business name. And because they did not go on and register their business or secure it, we had gotten through the design phase, and then the client mentions, oh, I've gone back to see if the name is still available, and it was taken. So that really opened my eyes years ago that no, we have to start the process by getting the business started, getting it certified, getting it legit, getting it verified, etc. Then come on over with the branding and marketing, followed by Latrice tackling that, okay, the business is started, you've gotten your word out, now revenue is coming in, so we got to manage those books. So that's why I would say the second phase of business. And a lot of clients may have already, like I said, have their business started, have their business registered, have it set up, and are in the process of rebranding. So with that rebrand, I just, again, go through the process that I have for them to on an intake form to gather information, gather ideas. But the main thing is to have those legitimate items taken care of, because we want to make sure once we build this that it's going to be something that is owned.
I'm playing with the light. Did you see how dark I got? If you were wondering what I'm
no,
doing. I think it's
I
an
was just
awesome. Huh?
I said I didn't even notice. I was just so locked in.
I think it's a lot that you guys are doing. I think it's important to have a group like the three of you. I've had both of them on
Mhm,
Wanda, to have the three of you working together and to going out speaking to people and offering your services. There's nothing
mhm,
better than to have a team at an
mhm,
event talking and telling you about each part of what needs to
mhm,
be done and
mhm.
have that team on the same page. John Freeman, I work in the same field, so I love this conversation. Thank you for holding this
Yes,
conversation.
John. Thank you.
John works in the same field as far as graphic design, and you know him?
I
Oh,
don't. I
you
don't.
don't?
Not right
Okay.
offhand. Mm-mm.
Okay. I'm trying to look at see that light went off again, but we're gonna make it do what it
Mhm.
do. Um,
Yes.
so how do we contact you? Is this well, we have it on the screen, but as far as
Mm-hmm.
social media, how do we follow you?
So my business name across all platforms, Maxxtell Creations. That's Maxxtell Creations with the S on the end, LLC, or my first and last name, Chantel Williams, and they all would direct you back to the same area.
Back to the same area, and
And
it's
my
in
website is the website is www.maxxtellcreations.com.
Chantel. It's been great, sweetheart. But Stacy
Yes, this
can't
is awesome.
but Stacy can't sell her guests the way they can sell themselves. So, is there anything you want the audience or the viewers to know that Stacy didn't ask you about?
Just stay tuned and stay on board with all that's happening. I have some webinars coming up, trainings coming up, virtual opportunities to be able to, just tap in, little pick my brain sessions to a certain extent. But
Okay.
just, stay connected. And then for those who may feel, kind of stuck or whatnot, I just say just get started. A lot of times, and as I always say, a lot of times being perfect is tied to the procrastination. So just get started, get it done, and just go after that God-given talent, that you should be pursuing.
Wow. You sound like what I've told people that what I've learned as far as writing books. People have a tendency, like you said, to procrastinate, to put things off. Just write the book.
Mhm.
Just do it.
Mhm.
Just create the
Yes.
business. Don't worry about the brand. You got Chantel. Of course, have an idea of what you
Right.
want.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
So
Mhm.
you're gonna have webinars. Will your webinars be online or
They will be online. It's most likely going to be a series of different areas centered around branding. First one coming up is Monday. Follow my page, follow my platforms to register. It's free webinar link and everything is there. Or I drop it once we, get off and make sure it's up to the top on my page.
okay? Well, once again,
Mhm.
thank you, Chantel. It's
Thank
always
you for
nice.
having me.
Look, thank you for saying yes. I'm gonna come on, Stacey. It's always nice to have someone to come on because I always tell
Mhm.
people, well, there's some new people follow me. So in case you never heard me say it, Chantel coming on my platform isn't necessarily the just a blessing for me. This right here is me acting as a bridge connecting you to someone that I believe in, someone that I've heard great things about. Because at the end of the day,
Mhm.
Stacy's not going to promote someone that's doing shady business. So follow Chantel. Chantel, I know people say Stacy always got something to say. Sweetheart, I am wishing you the very best. I am. And
Yes.
thank you again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good night, sweetheart. Thank you for those who are watching. Once again, I'll tell you it's the Stacey Thomas Show featuring the business block. The business block, you can head over to that page, get any information you need from that, and be sure to follow our guest. That's her information up there. She said that she's not only doing business in person, but she's servicing clients in the city, outside of the city, across the state line. And hey, if you can hook up on the right time zone, She'll probably service you if you're out of the country. This is Stacey Thomas. Follow me on the Stacey Thomas Show on YouTube. And always remember, I'd love to have you sponsor the show or advertise. How do you do that, Stacey? I'm glad you asked. Hit me up at imstaceythomas@gmail.com or bbstacythomas@yahoo.com. Don't stress too much about yesterday. Don't worry too much about tomorrow, because if you do, you just might miss living today. It's been a great night. Have a good one, everyone.